Hi, everyone. This is Dory Ransom here with Be Great, Aligning Business Strategy with Soul and Spirit. And I'm conducting one more of our interview speaker series. I'm here today with Kisty Stephens. Kisty happens to be a good friend of mine from way back in the day, but she is also the executive director of Sparrow's Voice. It's a nonprofit that works with all sorts of kids around the world who don't have much of a voice, and she's working to give them their voice. And she is a powerful life coach, and she is coming to our conference to share her work and share her wisdom. And Kisty, I just want to thank you for being with me today.
Oh, thanks for having me, Dory. Thanks.
All right, let's start off with a good question. Kisty, why Be Great? What is it about Be Great that makes you want to come and share your story?
Be Great sounded like the place I should be. When you said you were going to have a conference and it was titled Be Great, I thought, well, I think that this is something that I need to ask you about, because I have spent the last 50 years of my life figuring out how to share my Be Great with the world. And so here we are.
Let's talk a little bit about your story. Why don't you share a piece of your story?
A piece of my story. So, okay, here's one piece of my story. I'll tell you a little bit about my trip to South Africa and what started Sparrow's Voice. So I'm going to fast forward to the age of 42. And at 42, I went to South Africa to work at an HIV orphanage, which was a life-changing event for me. And it was life-changing in the sense that I almost died. And so I went there as a volunteer to make a difference, to work with people, to work with kids, to come back with great stories, to do something nice in the world, to be of service. And what ended up happening to me was I ended up in hospice, unable to walk, the fractured pelvis, fractured in 2 places, and was being told by the doctor that I wasn't going to be able to fly home because of the fear of blood clots, and that I may just have to make South Africa my home. So that was really scary. So that's how it started. That's how I started on my journey of Be Great, really. That's where.
What was that like for you, being in a hospital in South Africa that was full of people with tuberculosis, full of people with HIV and AIDS, full of people dying all around you?
I was terrified. I was terrified. I was absolutely scared out of my mind. And I kept waiting for someone to knock on the door and tell me that this was just really going to be okay, and that I'm going to take you home now. And no one came. And so that's when I really figured out for the first time in my life that you have to really show up and be your own hero. And being in the hospital was a piece of cake, really, because I didn't have to get up and go to the bathroom or anything like that. It was when they moved me to the hospice. And when they moved me to the hospice, Dory, they gave me a room in the hospice. And in that room, I sat with a woman who passed away just 3 weeks before that. So I knew the room I was going to, quote unquote, get well in was a room that people died in. So it was very surreal. It was very, it was earth moving for me. It was a changing event of my life.
How did it change? What did it change?
It changed the way I looked at life. It changed the way I see people. It changed the way I feel about where I am at in the world and what I'm doing and how much more I can be doing, and that people matter, that everybody matters. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what religion you are. People matter, and we are all connected. And that people that were dying actually pushed me out into the sunshine so that I would be comfortable. And these are people that aren't even alive anymore, so I can't thank any of them because they're dead. Yeah, so that was really life-changing for me.
And how are you bringing that forward now?
I'm bringing that forward because when I came home back to the States, I knew I was going to be forever grateful to these kids and to these people. So I started a nonprofit, and the nonprofit is called Sparrow's Voice. Sparrow's Voice is a nonprofit that helps people find their voice, that gives people a reason to continue to live, just like the people in the hospice gave me a reason to continue to live.
And what exactly, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's happening now? What's happening today? Why don't you tell everybody what happened last week with Sparrow?
Okay, so last week, it was fantastic. So finally, 10 years later, you know what they say about 10 years. Every good idea takes 10 years to brew, and then at 10 years, the 10-year mark, go, you got it. So it's been 10 years now. And last week, we offered our first Heal Your Life workshop to 8 HIV orphans who are now young adults. These were some of the orphans that were there when I had my accident. And it was a 2-day workshop, and it was delivered by a Heal Your Life facilitator in South Africa at the orphanage. And so finally now I'm able to give back to the people that gave me back my life. And I don't just mean my physical life, I mean my spiritual life. I was a spiritual mama when I went there, and when I left there, I was a semi-spiritual guru. So very exciting things are happening. So I was able to organize a workshop from my home in Denver, Colorado, for the HIV orphans. And now here's the other piece of that. So now Sparrow's Voice is working with child welfare services in Johannesburg because they want Sparrow's Voice to become a piece of their curriculum. They want us to offer a workshop, a Heal Your Life workshop, to their orphans, which there are over 5 million orphans in Johannesburg alone. So we're going to be very busy.
5 million orphans.
Yes.
So the idea behind this workshop really has led to Kisty's talk at the conference. And the talk at the conference has to do about heart-centered leadership. So she is teaching these kids, the idea behind this program, she's teaching these kids how to be heart-centered leaders. She wants to change the world. And so we're going to change the world by going out into it and sharing our skills and our tools.
Yep.
And so they're not going to be George Bush's. They're not even going to be Obama's.
No.
Because we can go so much past that, so much further, so much deeper into spiritual-based, heart-centered leadership. So, Kisty, what does that mean to you? What is heart-centered leadership look like? What does that look like?
Heart-centered leadership is somebody who has discovered their authentic power through their pain and through their story. And once we can teach people that it's your story that is your power, and we help people find their voice, these people can then relate to other people who have shared the same pains. So the HIV orphans are now being asked to, I have two orphans, well, I hate to call them orphans, they're 2 people who have been living with HIV. They are parentless, they are familyless. In this great big entire world, they have absolutely no one. I think there's power in that story right there. They have been told that they have HIV, and so that they should just be really grateful for everything that they get, and they shouldn't expect much because they have HIV. Well, these kids didn't ask for HIV. Most of these kids got HIV because of reasons that they had no control over. So now I have the facilitators in Johannesburg want these 2 particular HIV orphans to help deliver these workshops because they're such dynamic speakers. And who knew that this, so it's all evolving right now as we speak. It's evolving. We have people healing right now because we cared to pay attention to their story.
Okay, so let's back this up a bit. First of all, it's you that cared, you that paid attention, you that noticed and began a journey 10 years ago.
Yes.
And because of your courage, your willingness to look at your own story, which hopefully people will get a chance to hear a lot more of, and face the ugly, nasty depth of your own story. And then go out and try to change the world by just naively going on over to South Africa, thinking that it was all going to be great. And the stories that I've heard were of joy and sorrow, both of such depth that never have predicted. And you came back and you had a vision.
Yes.
And now the vision is turned around to
yes.
practical tools, teaching people how to find their voice, but not just stopping there. Once you found your voice, then who has it within them to go ahead and continue your mission and your vision? And you're finding all sorts of people that you never even imagined would do that. So Kisty Stephens is going to be at Be Great. She is going to share more of her story,
yes.
which is deep and wide and full of sorrow and full of triumph and full of laughter and full of tears. And that's no exaggeration. I mean, that could be, I hope to see it on the big screen someday. And she's going to talk to you about heart-centered leadership. She's going to talk to you about what does it take to be a heart-centered leader, sharing more of her story, but then also giving you some tools that you're going to take away with you that you're going to be able to apply to your everyday life in business and in how you approach the way you live. So Kisty Stephens, I'd like to thank you for being with me today on Be Great. And Ellie, obviously, aligning business strategy with soul and spirit and a dog.
Thank you, Dory.
Thank you so much. I will talk to you soon. Love you, my friend.
Thank you. Bye.